God is sovereign. God hates evil. God hates sins. Well, they ignore that. But let me tell you this. If you knowingly, purposely believe to parts of the Bible and you choose to ignore the rest of the Bible knowingly, you are sinning against God. Why? Because you blatantly, purposely want to be ignorant to what the Bible teaches and the whole picture. Please don't do that. If you say that you're Christian, you believe in God, look at the whole picture. Believe in all of God's attributes. He's just, He hates evil. Yes, He's loving, He's kind. Remember, He's sovereign. Look at the whole picture. Don't just take part of it and only that. Don't do that. Look at these people, the chief priests, the elders, the teachers of the law. They had two options, basically, now that Jesus confronted them with a parable. They could turn around and repent and believe in Jesus. Or they just keep doing what they're doing. Try to destroy Jesus, try to arrest Him. Well, which one did they choose, you think? Second one. You too are left with two options this morning. You can keep doing whatever you're doing and ignore the truth, and ignore people tell you the truth or confront you. You can do that. Or today you can turn around and repent, surrender your life to God, and believe in Him, in Jesus Christ. Hebrews chapter 3, verse 15 says, "Today, if you hear His voice, do not harden your hearts." Today, if you hear His voice, do not harden your hearts. Number one, listen to the truth and repent. Now, for the next two sections in chapter 12, you have three groups of people who are trying to destroy Jesus, trying to discredit Jesus' ministry. Three groups. I'm going to briefly talk about who they are. One is Pharisee, and then you have the Herodians, and then you have the Sadducees. So, Pharisees, they are the most celebrated Jewish sect at the time. The Hebrew root word for Pharisees basically separate. They want to separate, set apart from anything that is impure or has heathen tendencies. Herodians, they are not a religious party. They are not a political party. What they were doing is just support Herod, support the rule of Rome. Somehow they joined the Pharisees to destroy Jesus. Last one, the Sadducees. You should know two things about Sadducees. Sadducees deny the resurrection of the dead. Also, they deny angels and spirits. One thing you should know also, Pharisees and Sadducees, they do not get along. They don't. And if you read Acts, the book of Acts, you see when Paul was arrested and when the Pharisee and the Sadducee all both standing in front of Paul and trying to accuse the Apostle Paul, Paul actually brought up the topic of resurrection so that the Sadducee and the Pharisee end up fighting, and he got out of trouble. He was quite a smart man. Yeah, that's in Acts. Take a look. But the Sadducee and the Pharisee both, even though they did not get along, they were so ticked at Jesus. Somehow, they put the effort together to destroy Jesus. Now, let's look at verse 14. Here's the first attempt to destroy Jesus, finding faults in Jesus. Verse 14, they came to him and said, "Teacher, we know that you are a man of integrity. You aren't swayed by others because you pay no attention to who they are. But you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Is it right to pay the imperial tax to Caesar or not?" Look at the long description of these people giving Jesus. You can just tell that they're being sarcastic here. They really didn't buy it. They didn't believe Jesus, who He said He was. And Jesus' response was, "Why are you trying to trap me?" And then Jesus gave an answer that left these people amazed and couldn't say anything back. Okay, another instance. Verse 18 to 27. The Sadducees now came to ask Jesus about resurrection. Look at verse 18. Then the Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to him with a question. Look, two things about the questions. One, they're making up a scenario. Have you ever met someone who's so unteachable, they just want to prove you wrong, so they're making up a scenario here and ask you a question, trying to see what you say? Kids do that a lot, actually. I remember someone would say something like, "Can God make a rock so heavy that He cannot move?" Do you think they truly want to know the truth? They want to prove you wrong. They want to say, you can't say anything. Yes. That's what the Sadducees' attitude was. They were so unteachable. They just want to prove Jesus wrong, and they feel better about themselves. And here's the problem. Elders, chief priests, teachers of the law, Pharisees, Sadducees, Herodians, they were the people that you would have looked up to if you were living back in a time if you want to follow God. These people, they fast, they pray. On the outside, they look like a genuine God's follower, but on the inside, they're hypocrite. They're disobedient. Their hearts were far from him. Now, let me shift the focus to all of us sitting here. Okay, those chief priests, Pharisees, okay, they're dead by now. Let's put them aside for now. Let's look at you this morning. Are you like that? Are you acting like a genuine believer, Christ follower on the outside? But on the inside, you know that you have never truly surrendered your life to Jesus. Only you can ask yourself that question and answer that honestly to yourself. Are you like that? Let me give you a few examples. Pastor Jay often will say that just because you come to church doesn't mean that you're a Christian. Okay? Now, so let me ask you this. You come to church on Sunday. For the rest of your week, Monday to Saturdays, do you even pursue relationship with God? Do you even care to think about God? Do you think about Jesus? Do you think about the Bible? Do you read the Bible regularly? Do you pray? If you don't, you're a hypocrite. I don't see how you can sing that I love God, but Monday to Saturdays, you don't really care. Let me give you another example. Jesus commands us to be men of integrity. He actually said, let your yes be yes, let your no be no. When tax season comes, which is now, and the due date I believe is April 18th, you cheat, you're purposely hiding something. And you might be thinking, well, they wouldn't know, they wouldn't find out. I'm not the only one who's doing that. Plus, I'm carrying a lot of debt. God will understand, yeah, right? You're a hypocrite. One more example. Jesus commands us, and you have heard that we should give sacrificially and cheerfully. When the offering basket comes, you're giving your pocket change, maybe from your latte this morning. You don't even plan in your budget how much you should give monthly. You budget how to pay for your car. You budget how to get a new phone, new gadget. Yet you don't budget how much you give to the church. If you say that you're Christian, you don't do these things. If you say that you're Christians and somehow this is your attitude, how to give, you're a hypocrite. Now, some of you sitting here, all these, they don't apply to you. And for that, I want to commend you. Well done. The Lord knows what you do in secret, and he rewards. Well done. But for some of you, you know, only you know. If any of these apply to you, you need to stop and repent and surrender your life totally to God. But I'm not here just to tell you, oh, what a bad person you are. That's not why I'm here. So, let me tell you my hypocrite story. My hypocrite story. I was 19. I was living in Hong Kong. I had two good friends. Let's call them Renee and Sarah. Now, while initially Renee and Sarah professed to be Christians, later on they stopped following Christ, proving that they weren't genuinely saved. When they stopped following Christ, somehow I kept contact with them. And one night, Sarah called me and said, hey, what time is youth group tonight? Renee wants to come. I thought that was kind of odd because they stopped coming for a long time. Why did they want to come to youth group? But then I said, well, 7 p.m. tonight. Well, that night, I don't even remember where I was when that happened. But I remember after the youth pastor gave a message, there was a music portion of the youth group, and I was somewhere else. And I came back, I heard stories. I heard that Renee went up to the front to the youth pastor in front of everybody in the music portion of the youth group and said something really bad to him. She walked away, slammed the door. The youth pastor was so upset, so distraught that he left crying, left the room, and everybody was still there. It was in front of everybody.